And the purpose of this video is to help you with the week 4 homework. This would be section 8.3. Okay, without further delay, let's get into it. I've started with question 6 here. I noticed in your homework we assigned you 6A and 6D. So I am going to do 6B as a demo. Okay, so I'll do 6B. So what we have here is a negative 2.8 equals negative 1c subtract 0.65. Okay, well, we still got to use the distributive property. The negative 1 is fairly straightforward, right? All it's really going to do is just change the signs inside the binomial here, these brackets here. Okay, when you distribute a negative 1 through, really the only effect that is going to happen is that the signs will change. So this is a positive 1c, negative 1 times a positive c will end up being a negative c. And negative 1 times, you might as well just treat this subtraction as if it's attached to the 0.65. So negative times a negative is a positive. Okay, so that's a positive. We're adding now 0.65. Okay, so we have to isolate the variable. Let's isolate the variable, which means we've got to get rid of the constant. All right, so let's deal with the 0.65. By the way, there is a constant here. That's a negative 1c, right? And we'll deal with this when the time comes. Let's subtract 0.65 from both sides. Negative 0.65. I have 2 decimal places here, so I can create the second decimal place here. So what are we left with? Well, just going to fix that equal sign. Pardon me. Still struggling with just creating a nice equal sign. This zeroes itself out, and we're left with negative c over here. And here we've got, well, they're on the same team, so they're going to combine, right? Essentially what's going to happen is they're going to combine. So we have negative 2.80, right? Subtract a positive 0.65. Or if you want to think of it as negative 2.80 plus a negative 0.65. But essentially these two things are going to combine. So what happens when you combine? So I'm just temporarily ignoring the signs. I know that a negative plus another negative just makes it more negative. So knowing full well in advance, right, that I know this answer is going to be negative, we got 0 plus 5 is 5, 14, carry the 1. So that's 3.45. So 3.45. Now you have 3.45. Sorry, that looks like a 9. I seem to struggle with my 4s as well. Remember, this is an issue, right? This little thing here, this negative sign. No, we don't like that. Okay? So as I've pointed out in earlier videos, this fix is relatively easy. If you solve for a negative variable, right, but there's no other number except 1, then the fix is really easy. Just multiply both sides by a negative 1. Now, some videos will tell you to divide, and that, I guess that could be technically correct. The point is you got to flip the signs. So this would be negative 3.45. Okay? Trying to make that a nice 4 for you. Okay, so I guess what I'm saying is like just a little discussion back to this stage. You have 3.45 times a negative 1c. I guess what some teachers will tell you, technically, you should divide both sides by negative 1, right? The coefficient is negative 1. Let's divide both sides. But it's the same effect. You can multiply both sides by negative 1, or you can divide both sides by negative 1. Really, the result is the negatives, you'll get the negatives to flip out, and you're left with a positive c, and then whatever this is. So this was a positive 3.45. Positive divided by negative is a negative. And there's my wonkadoodle 4 again. So what I'm saying is whether you multiply both sides or divide both sides by a negative, it really doesn't matter, okay? Yes, technically speaking, you should divide both sides by negative 1, but I really don't think it makes that much of a difference. Okay, so that's question 6B from, I believe that's page 319, but it's 6B from week 4. Okay, I'll be right back with another one.